Well, it's not all butterflies and rainbows though. Something's had me carrots. Almost every single last one of them. There's one there still. Still a couple there. I reckon that's birds because I can't see any of the telltale snail trails. There's a bit of poo. I think the birds have been on them. Yeah, it's not the end of the world because carrots do have a good long growing season. There's one still there, look. One just there. I'll sow some more. And maybe just net over the top. I've never had to in previous years, but for some reason I need to this year. And also, look at the sorry state of my poor old sweet corn. I put it out in lovely weather about 2 or 3 weeks ago, and then the weather turned completely. We had high winds and torrential rain and it has battered them. They're not looking very happy at all. We'll see what happens. I've lost a few. How many have I lost? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 or 6 of them are completely done for. We'll see what happens with the rest. That's the way it goes though. You know, you can't control the weather. Nobody can accuse me of putting them out too early. It was what? End of May that I put them out, maybe even the beginning of June. These things happen. But everything else is looking great. Let's go and have a look at the garlic. I think I said in my last allotment video when we were looking at the garlic, I said that the traditional way to do it is to plant it out on the shortest day, harvest it on the longest day. And I said something stupid like, oh yeah, that's coming up in a few weeks. Well, actually the solstice was just last week, so I said that just a matter of days before. And yeah, we're just a few days past the solstice now. And a lot of people say that once you get past the longest day, your garlic's not going to bulk up anymore. Other people say, well, no, if you let the foliage die back, that goodness goes into the bulbs and helps to swell them. Well, actually, I've decided, not knowing either way, and it's that way with a lot of things in gardening, you know. Nobody really seems to know. Different things work for different people in different places. But what with the wet weather we've been having, I'm not going to take my chances with the white rot. So let's have a little fertile and see what's going on below the surface. Beautiful. They've swelled to a good size. You can see that they've all split off into separate cloves. I'm really happy with that. I'm glad I decided to go in today actually, because leave it much longer and they could have suffered a bit of rot or something. And there's no rust on the leaves this year. The leaves are just starting to yellow, you know, just natural dieback. But there's no rust. Usually when I'm pulling the garlic out, the leaves are covered in it. Well, that's a really good start. Let's get the rest out. I keep hearing people say that they struggle to grow garlic, but look at that. And it's the same every year. I always do really well with garlic. It must just be the conditions here. Must be just right for growing nice big bulbs. I'm going to clean those up and hang them upside down to dry. I'll take them home to dry them out. And I always save the biggest 2 bulbs to plant on next year. So I'm probably going to go for that one and that one. Dry them out the same as all the others. But I'll put those cloves aside to be replanted next December. Right, my next job, I've got to deal with these squashes. They all need to go in the ground. You can see they're just starting to look a little bit on the pale side. They're showing the very, very first signs of stress at being in these pots. So I'm going to get those out, that's important. See you in hell. There we go. Squashes are in. So that's a weight off my mind. They'll be alright now. It's not nice when you've got plants that have been in their pots a little bit too long and they're starting to look a little bit sad about it. They can get their roots in now. And they'll, the squashes all spread around over the surface whilst the sweet corn grows up nice and tall. So they make good, good planting companions. Let's go and have a quick look at the tomatoes and the melons. The tomatoes are doing really well. Now, this one that I showed you the other week, we've got a bit of a mutant. This is the beefsteak tomato, which instead of having a leader, a growing tip, has just developed a fruit spur, a little flower head. So this has been going on for a couple of weeks now, and it's not produced a new leader. There's nothing new starting to grow to take the plant any further up. So this is going to be it, and it's going to be interesting to see what it does, because although, you know, we've got plenty of... Oh, they're not looking the healthiest, are they? That one's okay. That one's okay. It's got plenty of flowers on it, but my concern is that with so few leaves, it's not going to be able to photosynthesize and sustain that fruit. We'll see what happens. Maybe it will get to the point where I take off maybe all but 2 or 3 tomatoes and just see if those few leaves can actually support them or not. All these other ones are looking really good and healthy. They're all flowering. There's no fruit on them yet. I've got some fruit on a couple at home. But these sort of mutations, they're very common in tomatoes. One that I see a lot is when you've got your fruits forming. Let's say, for example, let's take this one as an example, where you've got these flowers going on. Obviously each one of those is going to become a little tomato. One common little mutation that I find is that you've got this bunch of tomatoes, and then out of the end of the bunch of tomatoes starts growing a new branch with leaves on it. You see that a lot. Tomatoes seem to be really susceptible to this sort of thing. It's got a name, cellular proliferation, I think they call it. And I think the best example I ever saw was on a dandelion. I found a dandelion which, instead of just having one stem, it had 4 or 5 stems which had all fused together like a piece of ribbon cable. And then at the top of this bit of green ribbon cable, there was one big dandelion flower, but then out of the middle of it, there was loads of little dandelion flowers. That was a weird looking thing, but it was interesting to see. Right, I'll just quickly show you the oh, quick stop for the bees. What we got? We've got white-arsed bumblebees. We've got red-arsed bumblebees. Not so many honeybees on here today. Maybe the honeybees are all busy over there. Yeah, this is nearly all bumblebees on here today. Right, anyway. The cucumbers there are flowering, as you can see. Climbing up their canes. As are, at the back, the melons. These are not watermelons. People do grow watermelons in this country, but from what I've seen, it's not all that successful. These are your little yellow honeydew gala type melons. And you only get maybe 2, 3 at a push per plant in the UK. But they're just so delicious. They are so sweet and nice. It's worth giving them the space just for that little, you know, handful of melons that you actually get. There's a couple of spares there just in case anything goes wrong, although it's not looking that way. Sweet peppers, chilies, putting on a lot of growth in the last week or 2. I like sweet peppers, they freeze well. I chuck them in a lot of things. Whatever you're cooking, just chuck in a handful chopped up. Peas are very happy indeed. No pigeon damage this year, which is nice to see. Last year I got set back quite a bit because the pigeons nipped them all off along the top, and I had to make that trap that you can see there. So I had pigeon for lunch that day. That was good. But no trouble from the pigeons on the peas this year. They've behaved themselves. Let's have a quick butcher's at the wildflower bed. Don't worry, this isn't going to go on forever. I've got to go home and do other things. There you go. Meadows are in serious decline in this country. So anywhere you can grow a few native wild species, I'd urge you to do so. Any sign of Mr. Frog? No, he's back there under the logs somewhere. This pond is actually twice as big as it looks. It does actually go all the way back there, but I've got a whole section. Oh, I just heard him. Did you hear that plip? There he is. There you go, mister. Off he goes. Yeah. He's got a whole load of pond under there as well, so quite often, if there's birds around, he'll go under there for obvious reasons. And I've refrained from picking these strawberries today because my nieces are coming tomorrow to do some strawberry picking. So I've eaten a few, but I've left plenty for the girls tomorrow. Okay, take care. See you soon. Hee-haw, hee-haw, hee-haw.